my name is Liz. I'm with the Economic Tutoring Center at ASU, and this problem is part 2 of our kind of problem solving for the price equilibrium and quantity equilibrium. In the last problem, we found that given these equations, our quantity equilibrium is 80 and our price equilibrium is $4, and then we also went on to find the intercepts of the quantity supplied curve and the quantity demanded curve. So we have that all filled in here. Now we're going to solve for the consumer surplus and the producer surplus. So the way that I like to remember consumer surplus and producer surplus is that C comes before P in the alphabet. So C is above P when we're looking at our triangle that's formed here with the intersections of the quantity supplied and quantity demanded on the price axis. So here you can visualize that we have our consumer surplus above the price equilibrium, underneath the demand curve, and then we have our producer surplus, which is above the supply curve and below the price equilibrium curve. So to solve for each of these, to solve for the area, which would represent the total either producer surplus or consumer surplus, we're just going to find the area of the triangle. So to find our consumer surplus, we're first going to find the base times the height of the triangle. So we know that the base here, I'll write this out. The base here is just the difference between $7.20 and $4. So we'll write this out. So we found the base, but now we need to multiply it by the height. And the height is simply the quantity is simply the equilibrium quantity, because at this intersection here, which is the vertex of the triangle, that is the distance from 0 to the intersection, which creates the height of the triangle. So we're going to multiply by 80. Okay, so here the rest of this is just solving. There's no variables, it's purely just doing the math. You can use a calculator for this if you'd like. So after we subtract 720 and 4, we get 320 times 80, and I'm going to use a calculator real quick. This reduces to our total consumer surplus of $128. So this 128 represents the area of this triangle, and likewise the area of this triangle has like a monetary representation, which is $128. Now, to find producer surplus, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use this base and then the same height, because the height hasn't changed. The intersection is still the same point. So you'll notice here when I wrote up the equation for producer surplus that I used 4/3 instead of 1.33. This is because technically 1.33 is the approximation. So when we're finding producer surplus, which is going to be a larger number, it could make a difference that we're using the rounded version rather than the actual number. So at this point, you can also use a calculator. There's no variables again, you're just putting it into the calculator. So then our total producer surplus here is $106.67. So that's where this having that third comes in handy, because you get a more precise answer. So again, we can look at the area of the triangle here, and we know that it is 106.67. And note too that these two answers are different. So be careful trying to assume that because the triangles look like they're equivalent, that the consumer surplus and the producer surplus are equivalent, because oftentimes they're not. So be sure to take the time to actually do the math and then find what the consumer surplus and the producer surplus are. That wraps up this question. So if you have any further questions about economics problems, please be sure to come to the Economics Tutoring Center, and we have tutors that would be happy to help you.